Oh, yes, indeed. It is Thursday today. And that was the song Thursday by Six String Revolver. And if you've been paying attention and listening to my radio station, you would hear this song play on there. Well, welcome. I have a great guest for you today. My guest today is the lead singer of Six String Revolver, Raven Cain. For more information about Raven Cain, and I do have to say that we're going to be talking about a variety of things today. He does a lot. So first of all, I'm going to give you the website to the band Six String Revolver. Go to sixstringrevolver.com and check out his Living the Promise podcast, and you could find that on YouTube. Also, From the Ashes, which is his record label, go to fromtheashesrecords.com. And last release, ravenselfdefense.com. And yeah, here we go. Thank you, Raven, for being a guest on my show today.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
It's kind of cool to be able to talk to you and see you instead of through my phone on social media or, my laptop.
Yeah. The social media thing has really changed how we interact with people. It's kind of cool because we have this instant connection. I was getting my coffee the other morning, and this guy comes up to me and said, "Aren't you that guy on those videos?" you know.
Well, it's kind of funny. I enjoy your pizza videos.
I get so many comments about that. More are coming.
It's kind of funny, but it's like, you know what? But that sells. People love to see the variety of comedy, being serious, and all that on social media. It helps. Once in a while, throw in something funny, but
well, I'm doing this just for the fun. To be honest with you, I'm creative and I like to create things, and so sometimes it comes out comedy, sometimes it comes out serious, sometimes it comes out philosophical. It just kind of depends on my mood. But I'm really doing it just because I'm enjoying myself.
right. Well, and it's interesting when I first got on Facebook, way back in its early stages, I was a little bit like, oh, I got to be perfect on there. I got to do this. And now I'm like, screw it. This is who
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah, exactly. People connect with authenticity, and I think that
Yes.
my videos, they recognize a lot of them is satire, unless I'm doing philosophy or something. A lot of what I do is satire and just fun and lighthearted.
Which is great. Well, I want to let's begin and talk about your career as a musician because you have opened up for quite a few well-known household name bands. So, how did your music career begin?
I started when I was a kid. I started playing guitar. My dad taught me how to play guitar, gave me a few chords, and I just always connected with music. It's always been something I've been attracted to, and I it's really my absolute passion in life is to play music and help my. It's almost therapy for me. It is therapy for me, and I thoroughly enjoy expressing myself, and music helps me to do that honestly. And so I started when I was a kid. I started playing guitar, but then I heard the Doors
Oh, yeah.
for the first time, and I was like, "Wow, that's really awesome." And then I read the book "No One Gets Out of Here Alive" about Jim Morrison. I was hooked. I wanted to be like Jim Morrison from then on. So then I went down the rock and roll path with Jim Morrison, and then later the LA bands and all the stuff, and that's how it kind of began. But I really I looked up to Jim Morrison and on all these other groups that were coming out of LA, from um, Guns N' Roses to you name it. I really looked up to these guys, and I didn't have a father figure in my life, so these bands and uh, sort of became my role models is what I wanted to be. But it also tied in with the martial arts too and all this stuff. But those bands and those lead singers are like, I want to do that. I just knew it from the time I was little until still now.
Well, and it's interesting is when you hear a song and you hear the lyrics, you can relate to it. And sometimes through lyrics, it helps you in your own life.
Yeah, right. I was just telling somebody that too. It's like, when your life is great, um, you connect with the music, the beat, the rhythm, you're jamming. When you're having turmoil or trouble or things, you connect with the lyrics, the deeper meaning behind the song. Because there's songs that I've listened to over my life that just pulled me out of dark places or motivated me to move forward or music really can change the world by changing one person at a time, really, and connecting on a more spiritual level, which is one of the things I really appreciate about music.
Yeah, I can understand that. So the first time you were on stage, who were you with? Who did you open with?
Oh, my first show was when I was 13. Yeah. We played a backyard party and I threw up before we went on. I was so nervous. I threw up and I was terrible. Terrible, terrible. They threw me out of the band because I couldn't even sing. I was terrible. Uh, but yeah, but I kept with it. I stuck with it. So it was a backyard party. My mom attended. Yeah. But I learned. I got some videos of old me when I was like 16 and some really old videos and playing some school parties and stuff. My hair was like this and super big and orange and yeah, pretty, it was pretty terrible.
Must have been the 80s, right?
Yeah, it was the 80s.
Had that big hair too back in the 80s.
Oh yeah, all the bands had the big hair. I was like, I want the big hair, and I tried to bleach it blonde, because everybody was bleaching their hair blonde, and it turned out a really ugly orange. So it was like this really big orange Bon Jovi meets Axl Rose hairstyle.
Well, and the first, and I want to ask you this. So it can be very nerve-wracking when you go on stage for the first time in front of thousands of people. How did you handle that? Because a lot of people I talk to, they want to go into public speaking, right? Or they want to become a musician. And then that day comes where they have to be on stage or they have to talk in front of people or sing. They get the stage fright. How did you handle the stage?
That's a great question. Actually, it's a spiritual experience for me, right? So when you're on stage with the musicians, I experience a stillness of mind uh, like no other time. Um, it's a total stillness of mind. In fact, the musicians are all in that stillness of mind state, in a Zen state. We have completely absorbed into the music and into each other. So there's no thinking. I don't have to look at anybody to cue anyone. It just cues. If someone goes this way, everybody goes this way without even looking. It just flows naturally. And with that peace of mind, that stillness of mind, um, I I find myself able to reflect exactly what is occurring, like a still pond reflecting a moon. Just being able to reflect naturally what's inside, and then on top of that, the hundreds or the thousands or how many people are there moving and connecting with you, and with that stillness of mind creates this tribal exchange of energy. Uh, and to me, it becomes a spiritual experience, almost trance like. and almost like a tribe dancing around the fire with the shaman leading the dance, or voodoo session with the papa whatever leading the whatever it is, a tribal kind of experience. And I'm literally not only trying to reflect what's authentically inside myself, but I'm trying to give all of myself to the tribe that's moving in. So that's why I joke around it on stage, and I'll say, "Welcome to the Church of Rock," because to me, it is a spiritual experience. So I don't see it as people watching me and judging me. I see it as people joining me in this commune of musical spirituality.
And I could relate to that, except I'm not a singer and you don't want to hear me sing. But the first time but the first time I went on radio, and it was like 2 months, I'm ready to go. The day I get to the radio station for the first time ever, hosting my show for the first time, I was like, I'm gonna do this. I got this. 5 minutes before going on air, I'm like, I don't know if I could do this. Like, how many people are going to listen to me today? For the first time, what happens if I messed up? And I had all this in my head. And the guy said, which was the producer at the time, said, all right, your turn. Your show's next. Get in the studio. And soon as I walk through those double doors, right? All of a sudden I'm in the ambience, right? I'm in that whole mindset, the the ambience of radio. And I sat down and I had a couple people that were with me that day for my first show. And I'm like, all right, let's bang this out. We got it, got it, we got it. And then all of a sudden we put our headphones on and we're like, here I go. My intro music comes on. And then I start talking, and the rest was history. But it's getting to those few minutes before you have to do it sometimes is nerve-wracking, especially for the first time, because people, I hate to say this, we are human beings. And the first time we try something, we're like, are we going to get booed? Is somebody to say, I don't like the show? You know what I mean? And we think of all this in our mindset when we shouldn't have to do it, because we just have to be confident in what we do and know that we could bang this out, or we could, do it. And it's hard sometimes.
Yeah, so like right before a show, you'll find me stretching, and I will oftentimes think to myself that this is why you're here. This is your purpose. This is
Yes.
what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to do this. These people that are here to see entertainment. They're here to escape their day to day life just for an hour and a half. They want an escape. They want to enjoy themselves. They're there not to criticize you. They're there for enjoyment. And as long as I keep that in mind and make them a part of my experience, I don't feel nervous. The only time I really got nervous recently was we opened for Saving Abel at this festival, and it wasn't opening for Saving Abel. We went out there, and I think we just nailed it. We just killed it. Uh, but directly after our set, the promoter asked me to sing the national anthem. So we did our set, and I was supposed to do the set and then come right back out to sing the national anthem. Well, I just spent an hour singing rock music, and then to go to switch over from rock music to sing the national anthem. I wasn't about to be all gritty and during the
Mhm.
national anthem. I had to sing it. So that's the only time I got nervous, because I know if you sing the national anthem, you knock it out of the ballpark, no one will remember. But if you mess up the words, if you do it wrong, you will be talked about. They will remember that guy who messed up the national anthem. And I didn't want that to happen. So I was a little nervous for that, but it turned out fine.
Oh, that's great. Well, it is Thursday today. So I want you to talk about how did you come up with the lyrics for the song Thursday? And by the way, I love that song.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thursday, I wrote back in the 90s with a
Mm.
rock opera. I wrote a rock opera, and it's directly connected to a song called Sarah's Lullaby, actually. And Thursday is about Sarah, who is trying to escape this harsh reality. As Sarah's life is full of traumatic childhood things. She's being abused. She lives a life of sexual abuse. She lives the life of turmoil. And so after we learned that about Sarah in the opera, we come to Thursday. And S- Thursday is Sarah's alter ego. She wants to become Thursday. So when she's dreaming, she's dreaming of being this girl, this the girl that always dances in the rain, the girl who's always laughing, the girl where no one is ugly in her dream. No one's ugly. And in the voice that comes in, not even me, that's the voice of the stepfather that's abusing her, that's causing her all these pain. So when you hear it say, "My name is Thursday," and everyone here is happy, no one here is ugly, and then all of a sudden I come in with this nasty voice, "Not even me." That's the stepfather coming in. So Thursday is all about Sarah's escaping, trying to live in this dream world where she never wants to wake up. She always wants to be Thursday.
That's what's it about. I was wondering about that. And a lot of people that are in bad situations with mental abuse, physical abuse, you name it, they have multiple times all the time in their life on a daily basis where they have to escape into their dreams because it's the only thing that keeps them going.
Right.
And and it keeps them want to be alive, hoping that something good is just around the corner for them where they'll be out of their situation.
Right. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people who are incredibly depressed talk to me and say, I don't want to get out of bed because when I'm sleeping, I don't have to deal with all of these things. I'm living in my dreams. And that is exactly what Thursday is about. I know it's a little confusing when you hear it just as a one off. You're like, what the heck is he talking about? you know, and I was reluctant to bring it to the band and say, let's do this song. But I don't know, I something about it just, I wanted to get it out there. Sarah's Lullaby is out there with another band of mine back in the early days. That's out there, and it's a really hard song to listen to because it is directly related to her abuse, and the stepfather is talking her into letting her do things to her, and she runs upstairs and slams the door, and in this one part of the song he's his face is on the door that's slammed, and you hear his nails screeching on the door, and he's talking to her, trying to convince her to let him in, and then he starts banging on the door, "Let me in, let me in." And then he finally gets in. And at the end of the song, it's a pretty hard song to listen to. but
Wow.
but
Well,
that's
I
the
would ask more
lyricism.
questions about Six String Revolver, but I want to wait when I come out there in Utah to interview all of your band members because I think it'd be great to talk about Six String Revolver then. But I want to get into talking about self-defense
Okay.
because we're living in different world, right? And it just kind of has sped up to where it's at today. And do you recommend women getting self-defense?
Yes, I do. And but here's the thing: a lot of women will take a one-off self-defense course, and it frankly is just not adequate. When not that it's bad information, but a lot of times the ladies who come in are looking for a way to defend themselves quick, and most of the time they're living a sedentary life, or they're not active. They are small, or just not people who train, and so in that case, you can really only learn about self-awareness, situational awareness, All of those things very good to get. But if you're not training actively, if you're not pressure testing the techniques, if you're not engaging physically, then when it comes down to a physical a confrontation, especially with a guy that's bigger than you, or even a girl who's bigger than you, that has stronger than you, faster than you, more aggressive than you are, you're going to have a big problem no matter what kind of self-defense technique you learn one or two times. You really have to drill it over and over and over and over again, just like playing an instrument. It takes about 10,000 hours to really master anything. Same thing with self-defense. And so I've gotten away from doing self-defense courses so much. When I do a self-defense course, it's about awareness and such. But what I recommend women to do is to take a jujitsu class or jujutsu class, or a class like that, something that resonates with them, that lets them train on a weekly basis, at least twice a week. You need to be training and actively testing and applying the principles, and doing it. Because, like you said, the world has gotten increasingly dangerous. It is a dangerous place. And I actually hear a lot of guys even saying, well, I'll just pull out my gun. But the thing is, if you're not practicing actually drawing your firearm under distress, not just going to the shooting range, but actually going under distress with adrenaline and cortisol and all these things hitting your bloodstream, without your heart going da 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 da, da, without the intense struggle, you start losing your fine motor skills. And if you're not practiced at drawing, if you're not practiced at combat shooting, if you're not practiced at things moving in at you and things like that, uh, it's going to be very difficult, even with a firearm, to make it happen. So, training on a regular basis, whether it be firearm, whether it be some kind of weapons, whether it be jujitsu, empty hand, on a regular basis, to me, is a responsibility that everyone should take seriously. Because really, if you were to call the police and have a problem, what really, it takes less than 10 seconds for someone to choke you out. It takes less than a second for someone to stab you. It takes less than a second for someone to cause you harm. Even if the police got there within 3 minutes, if you've ever fought 3 minutes in the ring, or 3 minutes in the cage, or 3 minutes sparring, or you know it feels like hours, especially if you're not in physical condition to do it. So yeah, everyone should train. So you call the police, you think that they're going to come, but it doesn't take very long for someone to hurt you and really cause serious damage.
So when women sign up for jujitsu at your academy or something, what are you finding the first day with women when they come in for the first time? Are they ready, nervous? Lots of questions. Tell us.
Yeah, really,
Debunk debunk everything that is out there.
I wish I could. I wish I could. But the truth is that when ladies come in, they see an environment that there's a lot of guys, a lot of testosterone flying around, a lot of alpha males, because guys who train really gain a serious amount of confidence, and so do ladies too. But there are very few ladies that actually want to train with the guys. So this is why I've created a women's only jiu-jitsu class, because women feel, at least in my experience, a lot safer with other women. And I can imagine, because I've been to exercises classes and things like that where I see guys gawking at the butts of women, and in their workout clothes, and I've seen them staring at them and making comments and stuff like that. And I'm thinking to myself, oh man, I never want to foster that kind of atmosphere within my school. But I can't control other people, and I can imagine how women are feeling, like, oh, is he just looking at me, and I got to grapple and get on the ground with this person, and the close contact and all of that. I can imagine how uncomfortable it would be, especially if you've had some kind of experience in the past where it caused some trauma. So if you can find a women's only class, I think that would be a very advantageous thing for any lady to do.
Oh, great. Now, I do have listeners in the St. George area. What are
Oh,
your hours of operation at your academy?
well, I'm open to every day, Monday through Friday. My kids' classes start at 5, and that's from ages 5 to like 7. And then my older kids' classes are at 6, from 7 to 12 and a half. Then my adult classes are at 7 o'clock, and that's from 13-year-olds up. My ladies only class starts July 1st, and that's going to be at 6 o'clock on Tuesdays and Thursdays, taught by one of my black belt female instructors. Excellent, excellent instructor. So I'm really excited about that class because I really think it can help a lot of the ladies out there feel more comfortable with training, and it really needs to happen. But we do everything from jujitsu to Krav Maga, to kickboxing, boxing, mixed martial arts. We have a mixed martial arts team, a grappling team, all the fun stuff.
That's great. Is your place of business in Hurricane or is it in St. George or Washington? It's in
It's in
Washington
Hurricane.
County, right?
It's in Hurricane. It's in Hurricane. Yeah, and we're right in the middle of Hurricane, right by the Little Caesars Pizza and across the street from the high school. But this building,
I
in this
wanted to,
building, you have so many things I do inside here. Inside this building, I do hypnosis. So I do hypnosis sessions.
what?
Yes, yes, I'm a hypnotist. So during the day, I do hypnosis, and then I do
Wow.
life coaching and spiritual.
I was gonna talk to you about your life coaching, but I want to ask you before we get into that, what is a great tip for women that are at the mall? Besides being aware of their surroundings, because we have to be as women, even men too. But I mean, let's say we're aware of our surroundings and then something pops up. What is the best stance or what should we be doing?
Don't be scared to be offensive and hurt people's feelings. Don't be scared to look like you're being rude. You walk into an elevator and you see a bunch of guys that you feel worried about. Listen to your intuition. Don't be scared to go like, nope, I'm taking the next one. Don't be scared to say, hey, back off. Don't touch me. Don't be scared to offend people. We're so daggone sensitive about offending everybody. Don't be scared to offend people. Don't be scared to say no. Don't be scared to use your voice. Stand up for yourself. Look confident. Be willing to hurt somebody's feelings. Who cares if they hurt their feelings? You want to be safe. Listen to your intuition. That's the best thing you can do. We all get that little voice in our head like, nah, I don't know. I don't know if I should go to that guy's car or not. Okay, well, listen to that voice and don't go to that guy's car. I don't know if I should go on this date or not. He doesn't feel right. Something about him is off. Okay, then don't go. Listen to that voice. We are all very intuitive. Not all of us listen to our intuition, what we should.
Well, I want to jump in and thank you for that. I want to jump into life coaching because we do live in a world with broken people and they do need the help, whether they're severe due to background growing up or any kind of situation. And mindset is so important for the
Yeah,
future of your life.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I agree. So I do life coaching. I do spiritual coaching, and whatnot. And I know it's an interesting, weird kind of thing I've got going on because I do all these different things, but they all are connected to me.
Yes.
Um, Life coaching is about um, finding your purpose, and really, your purpose is where um, your passion meets you know, your, I guess your passion meets your drive. Your passion meets your purpose. It's what you can't live without. And to me, life coaching is about helping you find that and then how to achieve that. And then on the flip side of that, if you also do spiritual teaching with me, it literally is about Why so serious? You're not getting out of this thing alive anyway. We take things so seriously as if we are extremely significant. But the dichotomy of reality is we are not significant in the scheme of totality. Yet we are so significant to the people around us. But we're not really that significant. I mean, really, we're the speck of the speck of the speck of a grain of sand in the moment, in this moment of time in the universe that will be swept away in 100 years. No one will remember our name, most likely. We might be in the basement somewhere in a photograph in somebody's box, maybe. So, really, if you think about it, all the things people say about you, all the complaints they have about you, all the problems that you have are in reality very eh, insignificant. Why so serious? You're not going to get out alive. And at the same time, we're so significant with the people that who love us and the people around us and the influence we can have in the world at this moment in time. So it's this weird, strange dichotomy that we're dancing on. I mean, it's almost comedic that it is that way, but it is that way. So life coaching is like all the things that are significant to us and what we put weight in and what we can do and how we can go along. Spiritual training is like, why so serious? I'm not going to get out alive anyway. And how to bring those pieces together. And I find when you bring those pieces together, you're living your purpose because, why not? What else are you going to do? Besides, why so
Right.
serious? Get out of this thing alive anyway. And somebody goes, oh, you'll never make it as a radio host. You'll never make it as a musician. And you're never going to make all the money that you should make. And you go, why so serious? I'm not getting out of this thing alive anyway. I might as well do what makes me happy. And then you go do it anyway because why so serious? And who cares if you don't make $1 billion trillion? But if you do make $1 billion trillion, cool. But the $1 billion trillion isn't going to make you happy because
Mm-mm.
you're not going to get out of this thing alive. There's plenty of pharaohs that tried to take it with them, but they can't. I've never seen
Yes.
a hearse followed by a U-Haul truck to take all their stuff with them.
Makes sense.
So
Well,
why
and
not
you have to
live
look,
your passion?
and I think also, Raven, is that you have to look around you, who the people you're around with, because if they're negative and they're not supportive of you, get rid of them because you're wasting that energy. And you know what? Your haters are your best promoters, first of all. And they don't want to do anything with their lives anyways, or they want to, but they won't take the first step. So that is
Yeah,
why they do what they do. And when you're on your path at times and you're being successful on that path in climbing, um, they're going to do anything and everything out of jealousy to
yeah,
knock that down. And that happened to me in my own career. And I took me several years to realize what happened and get I went and talked to a life coach because I was like, I don't get it. What's wrong with these people? I supported them and I realized it wasn't me, it was them. And a few years ago, I did what is it called? So I had this movement because and it was the Inspire Me movement to encourage people to find their purpose. So my I have a quote that I made up back then, and I still use it today. Find your purpose, live it, and inspire others today. Because we need more positive people in our lives. We need more inspiration to help those that are not inspired yet.
yeah. Yeah. So I have some life laws, and one of my life laws is when you're succeeding in life, when you're doing well, you are going to have those that will try to tear you down. They will try to make you feel bad. They'll try to make you look bad. They'll do everything they can to tear you down.
Yes.
Recognize and know that that is evidence of you winning.
Yes. If they don't do it, you're not winning. You're not on
I
top,
mean, if they're not talking about you, you're not relevant.
right? And the thing is, and I'm going to say this, and you probably do this within your life coaching. It's like if you have issues from your past, you cannot move on and and accomplish the goals that you want to do unless you deal with it first. And so many people say often, I do believe in God, I have a relationship with God, but it's just not God, it's you taking the first step and continue those steps. And yeah, life is so wonderful when you work through, what's hold you back.
Yeah, I remember hearing this inspirational teacher talking about row, row, row your boat.
Ooh,
And it really resonated with me, and for a couple reasons. And the lyrics to it: row, row, row your boat. In other words, take action, row
yes.
the boat, but gently down the stream. Gently, gently down the stream. You take action, but don't be so serious. Gently, gently down the stream. Merrily, merrily, merrily. Happy. Choose happiness, because life is but a dream. Because it really is. It's here and then gone. But you can't row, row, row your boat gently down the stream if you take an anchor and you throw it and you try to attach it to the land that's there, and you're trying to drag all of this stuff with you from the anchor. That's like trying to take your past with you, and you can't do that. We have to learn how to cut that line and row, row, row our boat gently down the stream, merrily, 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 because life is but a dream.
And I'm going to ask you this quickly because people do have a hard time with letting go of their past. What do you suggest? So if anybody's listening to this archive show or the show live, how can they, what are the steps to get them to, let go of the past and move on for the bright future that they have?
Um, to me, life is like driving a car in many ways, and we have to when we drive our car, it's most certainly okay to set our GPS on the car and get our where we want to go and whatnot. But if you're driving your car and you're staring at your GPS, you're inevitably going to crash. Same thing with the rearview mirror. It is okay to occasionally glance in the rearview mirror. But if you're driving your car and you're just focused on the rearview mirror, you are going to crash. It's okay to glance at the past. It's okay to glance into the future, but we absolutely must be present when we're driving our car. So, yes, it's okay to glance in the past, but remember, if you attach to it, if you hold on to it, if you're staying focused on it, yes, this is why you are crashing. We've got to be able to give ourselves the power to recognize that the only thing that's happening is what's happening right now. What's in the past is no longer happening. What's in the future is absolutely not here. And it's not even promised. It's only what's happening right now that matters. This breath that happened right then, this breath, and then the next breath, and what's going on right now in this moment. It's the only thing that's real. And the things that happen to us and the things that we go through or things that people say and do, there's only weight to it if
Mm.
we give it weight. The minute we free it and no longer give it weight, like if someone came in right now and said, Raven, that hat is really ugly, and I went, oh, you know, he or she hates this hat, and I give it a lot of weight, and I let it resonate with me, and I let it stick to me, and I let it do this. But someone else on the side, here's say, oh, that hat is really ugly. They don't care one way or the other. It means nothing. So why does it mean something to me? It's only because I'm giving it weight. So a past event happens to me. And then I say, I take my power back. I'm not giving this any more weight. And so it doesn't have weight as long as you choose not to give it weight. I know that sounds incredibly simplistic, but really change happens in an instant when you decide to make change happen. It only happens because you make the decision to change it. Leading up to it, that's where it gets complicated. And but
Right?
once you decide, I'm not giving this any more weight. I'm not giving this power anymore. But permission to glance in the rearview mirror from time to time, if you want to, then do that. You know.
Getting those people or taking the first step. And it's like, once you take the first step, you're like, yes, okay, now I think I could do the other steps.
Yeah, I mean, there's an old saying: "Buffalo is not ate in one setting."
Yeah, right. Well, quickly, is Living the Promise your podcast?
Yes,
And
yes.
how can people listen to it?
Well, I got a YouTube page going up, but really, if they go to my page, Living the Promise page, that's where I'm putting little clips and stuff up as I'm getting ready. I'm in the studio right now, but I've got all of these cameras and all of this video equipment and this editing boards and all this. And to be honest with you, I'm still trying to figure out how the heck to use all the stuff. So the show is in development. I'm doing little interviews from different business owners as I'm building up and learning how to really edit it really well and how to use the equipment and so as I'm doing that, I'm releasing clips, and on the YouTube channel, I'm releasing full videos. But in the future, there's gonna be multiple angles. There's gonna be all kinds of stuff going on with it as it gets better, better, better.
Wonderful. And if you need help on the technical side or where to put your show on which platforms, I can help you with that.
Oh yes, I do need that help. Yes, I do.
Oh, quickly. So you have Ashes, wait, from the
Yeah.
Ashes record label. Do you is that brand new or has that been going on for a while?
I started it with a friend of mine in 2017 after I had a problem with I was on Universal and then I moved over to Atlantic under a sub label called 405 Hollywood. And they really did me dirty. They got me on the Vans Warp Tour, and then they wouldn't let me go on because I had a manager issue, and it was just an ugly thing. So anyway, it turned out pretty terrible, and they still owe me like $90,000. So from that, I went into hiding. I was in Vegas. I'm ready to do the Vans Warp Tour. I invited all the press there from the air from St. George and all over. They were all there, ready to see me go on the Vans Warp Tour, and they wouldn't let me go on. It was
Wow.
devastating to me. I felt like I had just burned my career all the way down, and I was totally helpless to do anything about it. You know, and so I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm rising from the ashes. And I said, you know what, to my friend, that's what we're going to do. We're going to call this From the Ashes Records, and we're going to release our own stuff. And I started doing that. And
Wow.
so now,
Well,
now it's
thank you,
turning into
Raven.
like
Well, thank you, Raven, for being a guest on my show. I want to remind my audience, follow Raven Cain, that's Cain. And if you want more information and find out when Six String Revolver is playing next, go to sixstringrevolver.com and check out from the ashes records.com and check out ravenselfdefense.com. Oh my gosh, we got to do this again.
and we got to do it again. I loved it. Thank you. I got to get you on my podcast one day.
Absolutely. I would love it. Well, thank you for tuning in today. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.